Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox, and this is quite literally breaking news. As I'm recording this, it's 12:35, just clicked over, and this is dated 12:31. That hot on it, so bang, straight away. And that is news about the Horizon scandal, that all the sub-postmasters that the SNP have been bitching about, that the UK government haven't exonerated. After all, in England and Wales, they were prosecuted by the post office, not the government. Whereas in Scotland, they were prosecuted by the government, and therefore it's up to the government to reverse that decision. And after all, really, they don't want the UK courts oversaying and overruling Scottish courts on matters of this nature. So you can't have it both ways. But they have now finally announced that they are going to bring a blanket sweeping exoneration. They're not going to do it on a case-by-case basis. This will annoy Dorothy Bain. She likes the idea of doing it on a case-by-case basis so that she can catch one or two. Otherwise, it looks like her whole department made a major cock-up. And it wouldn't be the first time. And it won't be the last time. But that's been overruled, and they are going to go with a blanket ban. Let's take a very quick look. At the end of the opening, I think I said blanket ban. I think I meant blanket exoneration. In such a rush. Do apologise. Don't often get that bad. Anyway. Yes, so they've got this blanket exoneration on its way. They didn't want to do it that way, but now they have been forced to. And they're going to now finally act very, very quickly. Now, for a quick brief, if anyone doesn't know, the post office brought in this software from Fujitsu. It was flawed. It had bugs. It was very disastrously bad. The post office just naturally assumed that instead of the software being bad and wrong, even though they told it was, they just assumed that sub-postmasters were thieving from them. And so they prosecuted all these sub-postmasters. Some lost their livelihoods. Some lost their freedom. Some even took their own lives. Turns out that they've known all along, for quite a long time, that the software was flawed, but they said nothing and kept prosecuting. Now, the prosecutors need to be themselves prosecuted. Fujitsu needs to be sued to hell over the costs. Whoever's in charge of the post office at that time also needs to be prosecuted and jailed. What they've done is immoral, illegal, and just plain awful. And they've got blood on their hands. But in Scotland, it was, of course, not prosecuted by the post office. It was prosecuted by the Scottish government. Since there is no separate independent legislature, justice is part of government, therefore the Scottish government prosecuted them. So let's see if anyone in the Scottish government shall be prosecuted for this. I do hope so, but I won't hold my breath. But they have now finally thrown in the towel, and they are admitting that they've made a mistake and they shouldn't have prosecuted, and they're going to give a blanket exoneration to all those who were prosecuted, jailed or whatever. So, as you see from the headline, SNP government finally brings in the law to exonerate them after months of moaning about Westminster not doing it. They didn't really want Westminster overruling their justice system, surely. Angela Constance laid out the emergency legislation on Tuesday. It will make its way through the Scottish Parliament next week. And the government is fully introducing this law that will exonerate everyone over the Horizon IT scandal. It ends months of rowing between ministers in Edinburgh and London about the issue, with the SNP executive repeatedly asking their counterparts in Whitehall to legislate for the whole of the UK. However, they were told the justice system north of the border is devolved and different, with the prosecutions undertaken by the Crown Office, thus part of the government, and not the Post Office. And this all went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm not going to go into all of this. Dorothy Bain didn't want it. She wanted to look at it on a one basis of each one. It would have taken a lot longer. People would have waited years to be exonerated. It would have cost an absolute fortune. You're just wanting to do this so that you can say, well, at least we got one of them through and I don't look like a complete dick. Sorry, darling. Far too late for that. Bain and Hamza Yousaf argued they were on the wrong side with each other. They wanted it. He actually wanted it. For once, he was on the right side. He wanted the blanket exoneration. She didn't. Weird. Anyway, this is all set to be ditched, and opposition parties have called on Miss Bain to address MSPs and reveal her opinion on the bill. The new law will cover those with a conviction for embezzlement, fraud, theft, uttering, or ancillary offences committed between September the 23rd, 1996 and the 31st of December 2018, when they finally admitted it and no further prosecutions took place. It will only apply if the person was carrying out post office business or working in a post office for the purpose of post office business. That's fine. But if the conviction was in connection with carrying on or working for the purpose of post office business, the stage... and if the conviction was for that as well. And the stage 1 debate and the vote of the bill is next Tuesday. Stage 2 and amendments Wednesday. And then it'll go through as soon as possible after that. So at least they're working. They've done it. It's going to be quick. And they will exempt, get these people out. She needs to be prosecuted. She knew. She is working against the will of the people. She should not even be in her position. Judiciary should be separate from the executive. It's not. She has a deep and unbinding conflict of interest. And every case in Scotland since 1999, every court case in Scotland is actually unsafe because it wasn't prosecuted legally. She has got a lot of problems coming her way should the review come that way. We're working towards it. We want it to happen. But an awful woman. Anyway, I shall round off there. We'll come up and we'll finish. As I say, it's just a quick piece. It's literally breaking news. And it's important to get it out. So there you go. Good news for once. Finally, they're actually doing something right. Coming up. So not really a lot to add. It's just nice that they have finally admitted they got it wrong. It's not very often that anyone in Scottish politics admits that mistakes were made. They have finally, after weeks of wrangling, decided that they're going to fix it. And at least also, and this is the positive thing, is it's going to be quick. It's going to be a quick fix and all these people are going to be exonerated. Now, I do hope that there will be compensation. No matter what the compensation is, though, that compensation must be taken from Fujitsu. Fujitsu ultimately has to pay it, not just for the loss of earnings, the loss of freedom, but also the damages caused to reputation, to feelings, emotional damage, the lot. I think the compensation must be running into tens, if not hundreds, of millions of pounds, and it must be taken from Fujitsu as soon as possible. Even if the company goes into administration, tough. They released that product. They knew there were flaws and they kept their mouths shut. And I'll stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Do keep watching. There's more to come. And I will speak to you later. Bye.